M. It's a fairly innocuous letter, but when used in the context of a performance BMW, then the M becomes very evocative. You might say the M stands for murderously quick, mighty fast, or mean as... well, you get the picture. Sometimes BMW throws its M badge at cars that aren't M cars in the traditional sense, cars that aren't quite as mental as we'd like. Take this new M235i coupe, for example. It's got an M on it, but BMW hasn't gone the whole hog and made an M2. Instead, it's given us a halfway house, a new M performance range that sits between standard BMWs and M models. But is it really good enough to please hardcore M fans? In a word, yes. This thing might not be a proper M2, but it is absolutely mental. Let me break down some numbers for you. 3-litre twin scroll turbocharger, 326 horsepower, 450 Newton meters, 0 to 62 in 4.8, 155 miles per hour. Now, do the math. This might not be a proper M car in some people's eyes, but to me, it definitely deserves that M badge because it is mental. You know, one of the most glorious things about this car is definitely the noise. That straight 6 turbo just absolutely screams whenever you get up close to the red line. 7,000 RPM. It's just sheer music to my ears. Stunning. Now the M235i comes with the option of an 8-speed automatic gearbox, and that's okay. You can drive it in automatic or select manually using the stick on your center console or the flappy paddles behind the steering wheel. And it can kind of give you enough freedom to play with it. You can, choose gears fairly appropriately, semi-inappropriately, but if it thinks you're being stupid, it will kick in and snatch control. Better still though, the car comes as standard with a 6-speed manual, and this thing just makes you feel like an absolute hero. If you want to drive like a lunatic, it just lets you do that all day long. The thing that stands out the most for me right now, I've got to say, is the tires. Never before in a car have I noticed such a big difference between the amount of grip you have when the tires are cold compared to when they're warm. You drive this car, first of all, say in an early morning, and there's absolutely bugger all grip. You will slide around all day long. It's absolutely terrifying. But drive it around for a few minutes, get some heat into the tires, and it will just grip, grip, and grip some more. Stunning. If you're into your motorsport and you appreciate the difference a set of warm tires can make, you're gonna love this car. The handling is magic, and despite it facilitating your needs to go all sideways, it will actually hold the road remarkably well. The rear suspension is a 5-link lightweight steel axle with double elastic bearings, and the front suspension is an aluminium double joint spring strut axle with M-specific elastokinematics. I don't know what that means, but I can tell you that it will clip apexes and follow racing lines all day long. The M235i also has the option of a limited slip differential that in corners can detect whether your inside wheel is slipping, take power away from it, and reapply that torque to the outer wheel for better turning. There's a pretty common trend at the moment where cars are getting larger and larger and larger. Even the BMW 3 Series is a little bit on the big side for me, but the 2 Series is actually a really good size. The car feels like an old 3 Series, and that's a good thing. It feels really compact. You feel a part of the machine. The driving position is excellent. The steering wheel, really chunky. You really feel a part of it. There's actually a lot of feedback through the wheels. You feel everything that's going on. It's a real driver's car. So who is BMW aiming the 2 Series Coupe at? Well, the 235i is going to go up against rivals like the Volkswagen Golf R, Audi TT, Toyota GT86, Subaru BRZ, cars like that. And I reckon this thing actually has the edge on a lot of those. The Toyota GT86 in particular just doesn't come anywhere near in terms of the amount of power it delivers. Audi TT, pretty car, probably a little bit too posy for my liking anyway. God, listen to that thing. And the Golf R, well, it just doesn't have the rear wheel drive that this thing has. The 2 Series, 235i particularly, it's a stunning piece of kit. I reckon it's great value for money. I want one. Actually, scratch that. I think I need one. Maybe I'm getting old, but it's definitely extreme enough to scare the pants off me. It's more of a lunatic mobile than its direct rivals, and it'll still do all the sensible stuff. It'll do 35 miles per gallon. It's fairly cheap to tax, relatively kind to the environment. Sure, I'll probably change my mind the minute I see a proper M2, but right here, right now, the M235i is pure magic.